Trying to start a family in your 40s is not easy. And as a guy, you don't really hear that many men talking about it from our side. So that's why I wanted to share my story. If you're new to the channel, I'm Craig and this is That 40s Guy. I turned 40 a few months ago and I wanted to journal life in my 40s. And trying to conceive is a huge focus of my life right now. As mentioned, I'm going to share this from a man's perspective. So to begin with, not everyone is going to be trying in their 40s, and some people out there might be wondering, why didn't you try in your 30s? So I'll just quickly go over why we're trying to conceive now. So I met my wife at 32. That seems like quite a while ago, right? But meeting someone in your 30s, wanted to enjoy life. We went on holidays, we got to know each other, we moved in, got engaged, got married, and had some fantastic times. And we actually wanted to start trying for a family when I was around 36 or 37, but unfortunately medical reasons got in the way. So due to that, we couldn't try for around 2 years. So that delayed our journey, and medical reasons can get in the way for many people out there. But what you do is you take the hand you're dealt. So we've now been trying for around 2 years, and it's not happened for us yet. And so one of the reasons why you might be trying in your 40s is because getting pregnant can take time. It can take couples years to get pregnant. And in our case, that's exactly what's happened. So obviously that can affect your mental health, right? So I thought I'd just share how I'm feeling in hope that if you're going through something similar, this might help. So for me, I'm feeling like I'm behind a little bit in life. Most of my friends out there now, as I'm 40, have kids who, you can talk to, who are little people. So that can definitely affect me a little bit, thinking that I'm not quite where I should be in life in terms of family. And that also leads me on to just being scared that maybe it won't happen for me. I think when you're younger and you're trying to have a kid, you've got years and years and years ahead of you. It feels like, there's not that time pressure. Whereas when you're trying in your 40s, it definitely feels like there's a bit more time pressure, especially from a female perspective on that point. But when you're in a couple and you're thinking about it together, it can get a little bit scary, the what if we don't get pregnant. And so you start thinking about, is adoption an option? What are the other options out there? And until we figure that out, I feel like my life's on hold a little bit. Now, I'm not saying this in a completely bad way, like I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm still cracking on, I'm still keeping my head up and I'm still ploughing ahead. But in my mind, I'm mentally prepared and I'm mentally ready for that huge life-changing event of having a baby. And I'm thinking about, raising that baby and being a dad and all those kind of things. And so I've been mentally prepared for that for years, and not being able to have that in my life yet, it does feel like that whole family side is on hold at the moment. And that also leads me into being worried that, I'm going to be a bit of an older dad. I had visions in my head of kicking a football about with our kids, going to their graduation, helping them out when they're going to university, whatever it may be. I want to be there for the whole of their lives and I want to be active, I want to be fit and healthy so I can enjoy it with them. And as each month and year goes past, I do worry that, I'm going to be an older and older dad. So those are some of my worries that I've been kind of processing over the past couple of years. And some of the hardest things throughout this journey are the ups and downs. We've actually had a couple of positive pregnancy results over the last couple of years, which haven't come to fruition. And that kind of journey of hope and excitement and thinking about the future for then that to get taken away is, it's heartbreaking. And having to recover from some of the lowest of lows and build yourself up to a high point, it's really challenging. So the journey of trying to conceive and getting pregnant can be really up and down. And one of the hardest parts about that is seeing your partner upset. So being there to be a shoulder of support, to try and be positive, to try and make sure that you can be that solid foundation for your partner, that's always going to be me. But I also need to think about how I'm feeling, which sometimes I put off. So I would say, be there and be supportive, but make sure you're looking after yourself as well. And then as I touched upon before, one of the hardest things is comparing yourself to others and where they are in their lives. So seeing tons of amazing family photos and adventures and everything while you're there just wishing you had it. I know that comparison is a thief of joy, but it's hard not to compare when you've got social media out there, TV shows, etc. Now, touching a little bit on my role in the pregnancy journey, I'm here to offer my partner emotional and physical support, and I'm also trying to stay healthy. So I'm still going to the gym, I'm still doing sports and activities. I'm trying to reduce my alcohol intake as much as I can while still, remaining sane. So that's one thing I can control, right? It's my health and my fitness. So I'm trying to do the best I can within reason in that aspect. And then also a huge thing that I'm trying to do is remain positive. Some days that's easier than others, but having a positive mindset throughout the whole experience, it's obviously going to be challenging, but if you can go into it with a bit of a glass half full mentality, it's going to help you in the long term. Speaking about what can help in this process, I've got 5 things that have helped me over the past 5 years. The first and probably the most important thing is communication. There can be times when, going through such a difficult phase, you're tempted to withdraw within yourself. But talking to your partner, especially when it's really raw and difficult, is still really, really important. So if you're going through this journey, make sure you're communicating with your partner. Then what I found helps me is journaling. I've actually got a Word document where I'm recording my journey over the past few years, and it helps me so much because it's a space for me to get things off my chest, to vent and, not upset my partner. It's my space where I can get my feelings and my thoughts down and get them out of my head a little bit. Medical help is obviously extremely important as well. So we've had help with things like counselling from the doctors, which has been extremely useful. And we've also tried IVF. We've got blood tests coming up around, infertility, miscarriages, those kind of things. So lean into the support system that you have around you when it comes to medical assistance. Exercise can really help. If nothing else, it can just help elevate your mood. Staying active for me helps me feel younger, which, helps alleviate my concerns of being an old dad, but it also just helps boost my mood as well. And then another thing to do is just distraction. Because trying to conceive can be quite a long period of time for some, distracting yourself, going on holidays, trying to forget about it for a little bit so it's not just all encompassing is really, really handy to do. So that's my experience as a guy with trying to conceive. I know a lot of the hardships might be on your partner, but it's difficult for us as well, right? So I hope this video was useful, and remember that if you're struggling, you're not alone. You've got friends, you've got family, there's medical assistance that you can lean into. And also, if you just want to vent or share your experiences, drop them down in the comments below. I hope this video is useful, and I hope that as I share my journey in my 40s, you'll see this with a positive outcome. I'll keep you updated, and hopefully in a year or two's time, you'll see me holding a little baby, and all of this would have been worth it. All right, that's it for this one. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.